What's up YouTube, Capital G here, DN Duel Commentary. Okay, quick spoiler alert, the sportsmanship on this video is not very high, but I still think that it's a pretty decent duel. Playing Blackwings, once again, people say, oh my god, all you do is play Blackwings. Guys, I'm addicted to Blackwings, like this is my soul deck. Although I have messed around with Insectors, I'll have a video of that shortly. And after I got beat down by Harpies, I'm probably going to fuck around and play that too. Alright, so I have a pretty good opening hand. I've got Sirocco, Borrow cards for Black Feathers, 2 Dualities, Icarus Attack, Maxi. Anytime you open with Maxi, it's good. Draw power is win power, we all know that. So I'm going to get cards for Black Feathers from Duality, get rid of the Sirocco. Obviously drawing in the Whirlwind made the hand even better. And then I'm just going to search, going to summon Borrow and search. Now, this is one of those duels where, and I'm probably going to make a video about this, how Return just needs to go bye-bye. You know, I feel like the script is out on Dragon Rulers. Like, I really feel like when I play them with Blackwings, there are only 2 cards in your entire deck I care about, Return and Decree. Outside of that, I really don't feel like many players out there are just going to flat out outskill me. I just don't feel like it's going to happen because I know everything that your deck does. You know, I now realize don't fight the dragons, fight the shit that the dragons summon. Don't use your removal cards on the dragons themselves for the most part. Use them on Colossal Fighter and Draco Sack and, you know, Scrap Dragon, the good shit that the dragons search. Anyways, or they search and summon. So he plays Tempest, he pitches Debris, and he's going to activate Tempest's effect. And I always have to remember in my mind to, you know, always remember what dragons have activated and what dragons haven't activated. He's getting a Redox. He's probably going to try and just set his graveyard up with a bunch of different dragons. I've got Kalut. I've got Maxi. I mean, I've got a pretty good way to defend myself against pretty much any card that he puts on board, especially when I have Icarus Attack too. I'm not going to Maxi him there because Redox is not a threat to me. So he's just going to go ahead and he's going to search. I think at this point, he's searching for Blaster, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know, he hasn't really done anything that makes me feel like I've been threatened. He sets 2 cards in his back row, which I'm fine with. I'm not going to Icarus Attack his back row. I see another Whirlwind from Duality, a Torrential, and Maxi. This was honestly a hard decision because all 3 of those cards are really good in this situation. You know what I mean? I put the Maxi back because I'm like, all right, well, I already have 1 Maxi, and I decided to take Black Whirlwind over the Torrential. You know, and I felt like that was kind of a toss-up. Like all 3 of those cards are really good. Black Whirlwind just gives me ways to basically be able to push for game. You know, I've kind of have this new rule against E-Dragons. I really don't care what you put in your back row. I'm just going to go for game when I have the chances. You know, I know you don't really play defensive cards, so I'm not going to respect your deck as, you know, when it comes to defense. I'm not going to respect you like I would a deck that plays Torrential or Mirror Force. I know that you play Regeki Break, and outside of that, that's pretty much all the defensive, you know, maneuvers that your deck can do. So, you know, again, I didn't want to commit to the board because I couldn't get over the Redox anyway. He's going to summon Blaster, removing Tempest, and what's it called? What do you call that guy? Redox. At this point, I'm going to Maxi him because with him triggering 2 of his dragons, it's going to be tough for him to summon any other dragons. You know, and I'm like, all right, well, here's what I can do. If you attack with Blaster, I'm going to Kalut you. Then I'm going to throw down my my Whirlwind, and I'm going to summon Shura. I'm going to search either 2 Boras probably, or like, you know, a couple of Kaluts, and I'm going to ignore whatever the fuck that you have in your background. I'm just going to go for game. You know what I mean? I don't want him special summoning a lot of monsters, and that's why I maxied him this early. I want him to just basically either end with just Blaster on field or not try anything else. You know what I mean? I was trying to make it so that he wouldn't try and go off, but as you can see, he just he completely ignored that. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna keep specialing because, you know, that's what we do. And again, I still have Icarus Attack, Kalut, and Fiendish Chain. So I feel really good about whatever he throws at, you know, whatever he throws at me. You know, I feel like I can pretty much stop anything that you're doing, and the more specialing you're doing, the more I'm gonna draw. So with 8,000 life points, you basically have to be able to kill me. You know what I mean? And this is why I'm like, okay, I think that the script is out on E-Dragons. I feel like if you play smart against the deck, you can beat it, except for cards like, you know, Sixth Sense and Return from the Different Dimension, where if you don't counter him, you basically just lose. So as you can see, he's activating Scrap's effect, and I'm going to play Fiendish Chain on Scrap. And, you know, obviously Scrap won't get his effect. I don't want him popping my cards, and I also don't want him forcing me to use my Icarus Attack, giving up my only monster on board. So he plays Phoenix 1 Blast. And at this point, I'm really thinking, obviously, if I chain Icarus attack, I can blow up scrapping his face down card. And, I mean, you can see how many cards I have, not to mention I've got another Whirlwind. So probably I'll be able to game him next turn. The only problem is, if that face down is returned, I know I lose. And I'm looking at his Banish Zone, that's why I'm like, okay, how much can he summon from return? Like, that's the only card in his deck right now I give a fuck about, is return from a different dimension. And I'm like, all right, he banished this many cards. He has this many cards in his graveyard. What are the odds of that being returned? And you can see I'm really hesitant, but I decided to go ahead and chain. And I'm like, all right, if it's returned, I lose. And if it's not returned, then clearly I'm just going to beat the shit out this guy. You know what I mean? And of course, ladies and gentlemen, it is returned. And this is what's frustrating about the Dragon deck. Especially when people think that they actually like outplayed you. You know what I mean? You can see I've got 6 cards in my hand. I've got board presence. I had really good board presence. I felt like I did everything right, and because he just happened to have Return from the Different Dimension, a card that we probably all know is going to get banned anyway, he just happens to win the game. I think 28 plus 32 is 6K, plus 24, that's 8,400, unless I did my math wrong. If I did my math wrong, you guys are going to correct me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so as you can see, I'm getting ready to scoop it up. I start talking some trash here, and I'm not gonna lie, I am a little salty at that. When I feel like I outplayed somebody and I have, you know, 2 to 3 times as many cards as they do, but they still win because of a broken card, I am ticked. So as you guys can see, I'm siding, and I'm siding out my Dark Hole. I'm obviously gonna side in the Iron Walls. Gonna get rid of Dark Hole. Gonna get rid of like a Blizzard and stuff like that. I always side in double M or triple MST against Dragon Rulers simply because of Royal Decree. I don't give a fuck about Dragon's Ravine. That card doesn't do anything. All I care about is Royal Decree, obviously. So I start off with a really elite hand. I have Black Whirlwind. I'm going to summon Kalute. Obviously, I'm going to get my Blizzard. I sided 1 Blizzard out, so I only have 1 target. I've got Max C. In case he tries to go over the top, I'll just draw a bunch of cards. And then I have double Iron Wall. So, you know, I don't want him being able to use Sword. So, obviously, I'm going to activate Iron Wall the second he tries to, you know, enter his draw phase. Now, don't anybody look at this video and be like, oh my god, Capital G, you're saying that dragons are bad. Oh, by the way, he activates Blaster, targeting my Iron Wall, which, of course, I'm just going to chain the other one. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's called hyperbole. It's like when Asian Eyes White Dragon had that video with, what do you call those things? Battery Man, and then he said, Dragon Rulers are trash. And, you know, obviously, we don't believe that. We don't believe that Dragon Rulers are worse than Battery Man. It's just hyperbole. We're just exaggerating. So I summon the Shura. I search Bora from Whirlwind. And again, this is the part where he has 2 cards in his back row. I don't give a crap. I know you don't play Mirror Force. I know you don't play Torrential. I'm throwing everything on board. I'm just trying to do as much damage as possible. I'm not going to lie. I kind of thought that I had more damage than that. You know, obviously I can make Cowboy for 800 more, but I was like, damn, I really thought that was game. So I kind of made a mistake here. So, all right, here's the situation. And here's why I hesitate. I'm thinking to myself, I can make Diamond Direwolf, and I can pop, you know, my Gale, and I can try and get rid of a Royal Decree or one of your cards. Or I can play Master Key Beetle, and I can try and protect my Iron Wall. Now, I assume when they set cards and don't activate them immediately, they're Royal Decree, at least in games 2 and 3. But I just figured the odds were with me in this situation. You know what I mean? And that's why I didn't make the Direwolf. And then, of course, it's Royal Decree, like I figured it was. Now, the one saving grace about my position is, number 1, he hasn't really shown me that he has a bunch of decent monsters. And number 2, I have Max C. So for him to game me, he's going to have to get through Bor, or he's going to have to get through Kalute, Gale, and you know, me drawing a bunch of cards. So maybe I end up drawing like a Kalute. So he gets rid of my my Master Key Beetle, which I really don't care about, and he plays Sword. When he plays Sword, I'm just like, all right, whatever. You know, I think I'm in a good position here because if he's activating Sword, that's less monsters that he's going to be able to special summon against me. So, I mean, he has to put something on board, otherwise he's just going to lose. I mean, I have 2,700. He only has 1,800 life points. And the fact that I have Blizzard in my hand is really good because if he kills Gale, I can just summon Blizzard. I can get Gale right back. That presents an instant beat stick. And again, the second he tries to special summon, I am immediately going to max him. That's not even a question. The second he tries to special summon, I'm going to max C him because I'm trying to draw more cards. Maybe I can draw something from the Whirlwind. Now, as you can see, he goes to remove a couple of cards, and I instantly go to max C him. And I'm like, do your worst. Okay, so now I have MST, so I'm not concerned about Royal Decree anymore. You know what I mean? And that's good because I can basically make my Iron Wall alive. So I just kind of have to get rid of this stuff on his field. You can see he searches the Dragoonity Tuner, and I'm like, okay, I guess he's going to go for an 8. And you can see once again, it's like people just completely ignore max C. You know what I mean? And this is kind of why I made that video about our Swift Scarecrow in Battle Fader. Like, legitimate people see max C and they're just like, I don't care. So he runs over my Gale with Scrap Dragon, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I think he's going to use Scrap Dragon's effect, but at this point, I'm like, that's cool. Go ahead and blow up your own cards. You know what I mean? I don't need Whirlwind at this point, and Iron Wall, I mean, I feel like Iron Wall would have been helpful, but he didn't get rid of Iron Wall, so I was just like, okay. He makes a mistake here, accidentally discarding Royal Decree. I'm not going to lie. That did not change what I was going to do at all. We've already established when I'm playing against Dragon Rulers and they have cards in their back row, I just completely ignore them. Like, if I have a chance to go for game, I mean, why wouldn't I? On the off chance that you happen to have Regeki Break or something like that, I mean, that's cool. But in this situation, you would better have double Regeki Break or something, and you wouldn't be able to activate it because you obviously couldn't pay the cost of the second one. And I have Mirror Force anyway, so I'm not really scared. So I play Gale, I cut his Scrap Dragon in half. I'm going to special summon Bora, and again, I'm just going to go in knowing that, he has to stop all those attacks. Obviously, he can't, so we're going to game 3. So I think, and you guys are looking at my deck and looking at it unsided. I think I sided a Duality back in game 3. I forget what I sided out, but I put a Duality back in. And for some reason, I didn't side in Soul Drain. I usually side in Soul Drain against Dragons too, but I didn't do it this game. Alright, so going into game 3, I've got a really good hand. I've got Black Whirlwind and Max C, which are just always good. I have MST for Royal Decree. Even though he's searching for Dragon's Ravine, I refuse to MST a Dragon's Ravine. I'm saving that for Royal Decree. And then I have Torrential Tribute, in case he tries to summon too many monsters or he tries to use like a return. I feel like I have a hand that is just, it's a really great counter hand. The only thing in this hand that's unfortunately not great is the Blizzard. Like, if that Blizzard was a Shura, man, it'd be pretty damn hard to stop this hand. So he puts some level 3 dragon in the graveyard, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna max C you when you use the breeze and you try and target it. Now I was wondering if he was gonna leave him on the field, and he decided not. He decided that he was gonna keep going. And I'm like, okay, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to draw a couple of cards. He plays Ancient Fairy Dragon. He blows up his own Dragon's Ravine. He gets 1,000 life points, and I believe that lets you get another copy of the field spell. So actually, he can fill his graveyard up really, really fast. And even if I kill the Ancient Fairy Dragon on board, that puts another dragon in his graveyard. So whatever dragons he has in there, I mean, he's definitely going to have fuel. Now, usually I wait to MST things, but I mean, he only has 1 card on board, and I don't have anything on the field, so obviously I'm just going to MST it. And now you can see I have Iron Wall and a shitload of back row, so I am in a fantastic position. I mean, this is almost enough, this small field of lockdown that I have, almost enough to win usually, unless he has like Blaster or something like that. But as you can see, I just flip over the Iron Wall. So against 4 cards, I feel really good. I mean, he can't use his graveyard to summon dragons, and unless he has Blaster, he's in a really, really bad situation. And if he tries to summon something stupidly, I am going to blast the hell out of him with Torrential Tribute. And that's exactly what he does. He tries to summon something. He gets greedy. He's trying to go for the level 8. I'm thinking that he must be trying to go for Scrap Dragon, and I hit him with Torrential Tribute. Now, at this point, I can't seem to find a monster for that damn Whirlwind. And I'm like, screw this. I'm just going to start attacking. Your deck doesn't play Gores, so I'm not going to be afraid of Gores. I've got Icarus Attack. I've got, Book of Moon. I've got Evac. I've got ways to fight back against you. And you still have to get rid of this Iron Wall. Now, the Solemn Warning was just, that was like icing on the cake. Because now if he summons like, a Fencing Ferret or a Card Trooper or something, then obviously I'm just going to burn the Solemn Warning because I don't want my Blizzard dying for nothing. I've got Gale, but it's still not the big Blackwing that I want. I want a Shura. I want a Bora or even a Sirocco. I mean, I'd easily tribute my Blizzard for a Sirocco because it just puts out more damage. I drew Max C, which these are all helpful cards, but when Dragon Rulers are basically begging you to game them, I mean, you really just want beat sticks. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I have Whirlwind and Max C and all these good cards sitting in my hand. Alright, so you can see that he's going to activate Tempest. He's going to pitch Little Dragoonity guy. And he's searching for a dragon. Now, I think he's going to go for Debris Dragon. He's looking to torch the field. Now, I think maybe he should have searched for Blaster, because the second he summons that motherfucker, I'm like, yeah, warning, get that out of here. And even if he thinks that that's sacking, I had Book of Moon, I had Evac, I had so many different ways to stop that Debris Dragon Black Rose from happening. There was no way that he was going to get that off. You know what I mean? And of course he says, oh, you know, you have all the outs. And I'm like, dude, I had Whirlwind turn 1. Like, if I would have drawn a beater, I would have won probably 3 turns ago. So anyways, a little bit of smack talking on my part, and that definitely wasn't good. But this was one of those duels that, you know, clearly emotions were running high. We were both a little salty at this point. I'm looking at my extra deck, forgetting that both of my monsters are tuners, because I'm an idiot like that. And at this point, I'm like, screw this. If you're not going to summon anything, then I'm just going to make sure that I push out for a bunch of different damage. And actually, you can see if I would have summoned Gale during my last turn, I would have won this turn. He finally draws the Blaster, and he's going to obviously pop my Iron Wall. Now, the thing about this is, I've got Book of Moon, I have Icarus Attack, I've got Max C, D-Prison, and Evac. I mean, basically, come at me, bro. Like, even though you finally got rid of the Iron Wall, I have so many fucking cards and so many hurdles for you to get through. I just don't see you doing it, quite frankly. And every time you're special summoning, I'm just going to be drawing cards, because this is, once again, a situation where the second he tries to special summon, I'm going to Max C him, because I'm going to make sure he doesn't try and special summon as many monsters as possible. He tries to special summon, and of course, I Max C him. I drew Pot of Duality, which is really good in this situation because it gives me more than likely the beater that I need to finally make that Whirlwind legitimate. Now, here's the thing. You know, he already activated Blaster. He already activated Blaster's effect to pop something. And now he's special summoning Tidal. So, I mean, he basically needs to find a bunch of dragons, because he can't take another attack. And if he tries to just attack with Tidal, then obviously I'm just going to de-prison him. And let's see, he removes 2 monsters. I'm going to special summon. I actually just realized he cheated, because he activated Blaster earlier in the turn, you know what I mean, to pop the Iron Wall. And at this point, I de-prisoned him. That was a mistake. I should have just Icarus attacked him, you know what I mean. And it doesn't really matter, because I could easily just evac the monster back to his hand, knowing that, I mean, clearly he can't activate Blaster 3 times in 1 turn. So he just ends up scooping it up. Now, I mean, this was a duel where a lot of people think in this matchup that Blackwings just aren't good, that they can't fight against the deck. And I'm just like, no. You know, usually Blackwings can handle Dragon Rulers easily. It's just when they hit return, obviously you're in a bad spot. Or when they hit Decree, you're obviously in a bad spot. Outside of that, you really don't need to fear the E-Dragon deck. Like, it's not nearly as good as what people think it is. I mean, it's the best deck of the format right now. It's not tier 0, I definitely wouldn't say. And it's not something like Teledad. So thank you guys for watching, as always, and take care. Don't think that this video was talking too much junk about the deck. It's still a fine deck. It's just not as great as everybody thinks it is without return.